Okay, first and foremost, you got to give Iowa a lot of credit. Really good football team, very mature football team. They did what they had to do to win. Congratulate Coach Ferentz and Iowa for all that they accomplished tonight. They did a really nice job in a lot of different areas. So first of all, congratulate them on winning the Florida of Rosedale. So I told our team in there I'm disappointed, very disappointed. However, I saw a ton of growth in a lot of areas. We're getting spotted growth in a lot of areas. It's like planting crops, and they're all supposed to grow at the same time. That's what you expect. Every row is supposed to grow at the same time, same temperature, same size. And we kind of have spotted growth right now. You know, this row is growing a little faster than that row. That row is growing a little slower than that row. That row hasn't even grown yet. This row is just unbelievable. And until we keep growing as a team, some of the results could be like that. But take away the result for a minute. I told our football team how proud of them I was because I knew how much they've grown tonight. They failed and they grew. They're down 14-0, and they just continue to row. They continue to keep their oar in the water. They continue to fight. There are no moral victories here, and there are no excuses. We got beat, and they're more mature than us. No excuses. Period. We didn't do enough to win the football game. You played to win the game, and we didn't win the game. Disappointed, not mad. Disappointed. There's a big difference. Because I know how good this football team can be when no one thinks they should be any good. With 7 seniors playing, 14 juniors, and everybody else either freshmen or a redshirt freshman or never played, very difficult to do what they're doing. And then throwing your best players are out. That's not an excuse. Those are facts of what's going on with our football team. And to be into that game with that experienced of a team and that mature of a team, and to have the start we had, that thing could have been 64-0. And it wasn't. We were in the game all the way until about the last 5 minutes. And that wasn't because they quit. That was because you don't agree with that? You don't agree with that? Yeah. Okay, good. Fist pound. I love it. I got 2 guys that are with us. All right. Just kidding. But my point is that we've made huge strides at every position. Look at our wideouts. And I could just use them as an example. Chris Altman-Bell, Rashad Bateman. These are freshmen, redshirt freshmen, true freshmen. Ty Johnson making some big plays. Quarterback coming back off the last week, coming off of an injury, sitting in the pocket, stepping in the pocket. Now, was he perfect? No. But there were things I saw, I kept saying to headset, man, he didn't do that last week. We grew. Then there were things that he did, and I was like, oh, no. We got to break that habit. He did it again on the other side. So we got a lot of work to do. I told our team, we're that close. Now, some of you are going to say, we're this close, and that's measured in, that's not to scale. You're really like that close. But to me, we're this close. Now, that gap in between there is a lot of work. That's a lot of detail. That's a lot of fundamentals. That's a lot of trust. That's a lot of camaraderie. That's a lot of belief. That's a lot of all those little things. And we just got to close that gap every single week. And that's all I want them to do. But I hope everybody can see what we're becoming, because I can. And your job's not to necessarily see what we're becoming. Your job's to write exactly where we are. I completely understand your job. But I can see where this team's going and what challenges they have in front of them, and they don't look at them as challenges, they look as opportunities. So got to give Iowa a lot of credit. They got the trophy again. And, our team's disappointed, but we got to go back to work tomorrow and get better. So with that, I'm sure you got a lot of questions. Again, congratulations, Iowa, and open up for questions.
What were the issues that you saw with the pass defense, and especially on the third down defense?
That's a great question, Andy. A lot of things. First of all, the first drive, we get the 4th and 2. That just killed us right there. I mean, that wasn't good. We have the 4th and 2. We should be able to stop them there, get off the field, and we don't. They get a first down, boom, they go down, throw a 3-yard touchdown. The second one, it's a blown coverage. It's cover 2 and backside safety who just be able to stay back. You're the deepest of the deepest. Just that's your job. There's no other thing. I think Nate Stanley's scramble came down. And when you do that, you leave a wide open receiver down the field. I mean, you're deeper than the deepest, period. That's the rule. We don't do that. But again, that's somebody playing a position they normally don't play. And that's a position we're in. No excuses. Has to happen. Who's ever on that field, I have to get to do their job. Just like our best player would be in there. So that's on me. They're down 14-0. Now all of a sudden they score two more touchdowns, 28. I forgot what the score was at that point, but the 2 touchdowns. But again, blown coverage, play action stuff. One thing I'll say something about their tight ends, they run faster, than most of our wideouts at times. They can run. But again, just we've got to understand the game more. We talk about, prime example to answer your question, is you can play the play, okay, or you can play the situation. The game of football's, how many plays there are, if there's 60, 70, 80 on offense or defense, that's 80 different situations. What's happening is sometimes our guys back there they're young at times, and they're playing the play. What's the call? Boom. But they don't know the situation, what had happened 8 plays ago, what that formation identification is with the motion. And again, everything falls back on me. It's my responsibility to get that done, no matter how young he is, how young they are. It's my job to be able to do that. But again, it's, I think that was the majority of it, playing the play instead of playing the situation. And, you got to get better there. I thought we did a tremendous – I know they rushed for over 100 yards, but I thought we did a great job up front. I thought our front seven did a great job of stopping the run as best you can against Iowa, I think. I thought their outside zone early in the first half, we did a great job of stopping. Second half had a few come out here and there. But I thought we did a great job stopping the run for the first half, a little bit into the second half. But what hurt us was the third down conversions, which is a shame. 10 of 19 on third down. You're going to lead the country if that's your percentage. And a lot of those were 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8s, and we're not playing the situation. We're just playing the play. And then at one point we ran out of secondary members. So, that's just what it is.
Talk about your decision. Did he go deep too many times?
No. He didn't go deep too many times. No, that was a direct order. I thought that was a way we could generate big plays. Remember, we felt like we weren't – when we got down – it would have been very hard to meticulously march down the field 12 plays at a time and be perfect and score a touchdown nicely. And we had to generate big plays. And I thought he did a really good job at times. And then sometimes, he's got to know to put the ball a little bit further outside. It's small details. But again, he's learning how to miss small. He's missing small. He's not far off. And I said our whole team's this close. He's an example of it's this close. Because I tell you what, he's a pretty good player. Remember, he's a true freshman. He's a pretty darn good true freshman player. And Greg Schiano always told me it doesn't matter if they're a true freshman, senior, 10th-year player. It doesn't matter. Whoever's on the field has to perform. And you can't say, well, that's good for a freshman, but that was really good for a freshman. But it's not good enough to win. It's not good enough to win in the Big Ten. He knows that, and he's got to continue to grow and get better. But, I thought his resolve was tremendous. He got banged up a little bit again, went back in the game. He's starting, I was told a long time ago, only 37. But if you have a tough quarterback, you got a tough team. I think Jimbo Fisher said that. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what he said. And that's true. And Zach Anderson is becoming tough. It's hard to be able to just show I'm tough in 5 games or your first year, but he shows a ton of resiliency. And again, I didn't think we went deep enough. How's that? Because, again, we took advantage of the – now, they made some nice plays, but why did they make some nice plays? Underthrown balls.
Take us through your decision-making on that fake punt.
Yeah, I love the decision. 21-10. We complete that. It's open. If we complete that, it's open. There's no schematic problem with it. It's perfect. If we complete that, we go score. It's 21-17. Now, we don't. They convert their fake. We don't convert ours. Okay. They go down to score, but then we score right back. So to me, it was a wash because I knew I could trust our defense, but they went down and scored. Then we scored right back. Well, that's part of the fake. Worrying about the short field is why you fake it there. They don't think you're going to fake it. And then you fake it. We just threw the ball out of bounds. We hadn't thrown the ball out of bounds in the last 2 weeks of practicing it, and we threw it out of bounds. So if I would have known we were going to throw it out of bounds, I would have thrown it.
Then on their fake, did you think about calling a timeout there to make sure you had what you
Yeah, but here's the thing. We work on the muddle every single week, every single day. And when you work on that, you trust your team to do it. It lined up exactly how they line up in muddle. We had it set. If you look at us, we're perfectly set where we need to be. We just don't set the edge. On the edge, it doesn't set the edge. And we set the edge in practice. We just didn't set the edge in the game, which, again, goes back to me coaching. And thought about it, but, I had plenty of time to do it. I mean, I ran faster down the sideline to call timeout at Fresno State. Thought about it, but if our guys were like, I would immediately call the timeout. There was no panic in our team. They knew exactly where to go. Muddle was called. They knew exactly what to do, where their count was, and just didn't execute it.
What do you think of Chris Williamson's performance today, having to fill in that gap in the backfield?
I think it was, I'm proud of Chris for getting in there. I think it was a little up, a little down. But, again, he's got to get playing more. He hasn't played football in close to 2 years. So, again, he's got to get back into playing football, not just practicing. And it's good for him to get in there. You don't want your guys just getting their first time come Big Ten football. But that's a position we're in.
Was your switch at right tackle performance related?
Switch at right tackle is being able to sit there and say, okay, we know we're going to need Curtis Dunlap Jr. and Daniel Faalele as we keep going forward into Big Ten play. I made a decision to be able to make the switch at right tackle based on getting Daniel Faalele reps, period. I think I have to make a decision whether one way or another now. Okay, he's in 2 games. I think we just ride with him. Let him play. He's going to have to play. He's one of the strongest people probably in the Big Ten, one of the best. Now, 2 weeks ago, he wasn't emotionally or mentally ready. He was close. That's why we didn't play him in the in-between games. Now we're getting to a point where he can play him. Now, I thought that would give us a strength advantage. So it wasn't like somebody wasn't doing a good job. I just felt like we're getting too much pressure. And who's the strongest guy we got coming off the bench, right? And that would be him. And I thought that we'd be able to plug a hole there. But, again, I'm not going to put him in there if he's not ready to play. A few weeks ago he wasn't. I feel like he's getting closer to be able to be a guy that can play. Because, again, those are the guys behind our 5 guys, our 2 freshmen. So, we'll see. Maybe they'll both play. Maybe they won't. But, again, I've got to continue to make decisions for now, and I got to make decisions for then. Those are very difficult things to make. Don't sacrifice what you really want down the road for what you want right now, but you got to look in those seniors' eyes as well.
So you said he's going to have to play. Does that mean beyond 4 games for Daniel?
Haven't made that decision yet. He's played in 2. But sooner or later, I've got to be able to make that decision, and I'd like to make it pretty soon. But if there's one person that's physically ready to play out of those freshmen, no matter what position, it's him. It's not like we have to sit there and say, okay, now, everybody, we need to redshirt the kid because he's got to get stronger. I mean, he can pick up a football field, and just pick it up, and all the grass would come up. He's just that strong. So, but it's the mental and the emotional part of playing O-line. It's one of the hardest positions to play as a true freshman, let alone a redshirt freshman like Blaze Andrews is doing. It's so hard to play it as a true freshman. But I feel like he's starting to trend towards he can play. But then it comes into, what do I want to do? Do I want to just know that in 2000 and, I can't think of it, 5 years from now, that he'll be a 5th-year senior, or do I want to get that done now?
How important was Jacob Huff's interception there before the end of the first?
Very important. We need some more of those, We need some more of those. We have to find ways to be able to generate takeaways synthetically, authentically. However, we've got to find a way to generate takeaways. And then offensively, as you can see, we're doing everything we can to generate points, right? Whether that's a wildcat, whether that's our play action game, whether it's down the field game. And again, you're not experimenting with your offense at all right now, but there's so many youthful guys, you still don't know what they can do in a game, and you're evaluating that. And that's just part of the maturation process with a young team. So that was a huge interception, huge. I mean, that helped us, go into the half and get going with some points.
We'll take one more.
Just the mindset of being down only 11 versus 18 in the locker room.
That's
Spark, you felt you have more of a shot there.
Well, as a coach, you want to be able to not let the circumstance dictate your behavior. You want that to rub off on your players. I've been a part of teams where we were down 23 and came back at halftime. So, but for they're human beings and they're kids, so the morale of that, of course, that helped. But if we were down 18, the same message would have been the same message. It's one play at a time. We've got to keep growing the second half. We got to keep getting better. But it felt like all game we were chasing. And again, some decisions I make is because we're down. And however I'm feeling the defense is playing, when I made the fake punt call, we were down 21-10. No, we give them the ball back, and they march down. Now it's 28-10. Right? Now that's what it turned out to be when we didn't get it, and they scored, and then we scored right back. But you've got to make those calls, and sometimes you need to give them a boost. There's major league managers get kicked out of game just to get their team fired up. They leave the game. Well, we need to generate some of that this year by doing some of those special teams fakes, and maybe more than we did last year, and create that type of excitement. Because if we hit the play, we're all saying it's a great play. If we don't hit it, why would you do that? But that's all part of what the fake is, and our team learned a valuable lesson. When that happens, you put your defense in a short field. But I did tell our defense early in, 2 weeks ago, when we put it in, I said, if I call you got to have my back. Or, Coach, we got to call. You got to call. That's awesome. We got to call. If we don't execute it, that's when you got to have our backs. Again, I'm not mad at our team. I'm disappointed, but I know how much closer we're getting. I learned in the NFL a long time ago, close get you cut. Almost get you fired. Those are things that you learn when you're in the National Football League. Nobody cares about those things. But we are closer, and I told them in there we're closer, and we're making huge strides. And I told you we have a young team, and sometimes young teams make the biggest jumps. We made some biggest jumps on one side of the ball. We didn't make so much jumps on the other side of the ball. We just got to continue to bring all that together. So I appreciate everybody for coming. Thanks for all your questions. Roll the boat, Sky Mile, go Gophers. Thank you.
Hey, talk to you in the morning.
You got it, buddy.